Hello everyone and welcome back. We just got a brand new 4.1.1 PTU patch that's going to run over the weekend. They are planning on running a bit of a stress test on Sunday at 1900 UTC. They want everyone to crowd into the Idris tour, and they're looking to get some information on how that performs when as many people as possible are in there. So just here where there is going to be that. We also have, in today's build, some changes to the restricted zone around the Idris tour, because a lot of people have been crashing into that and just making it a mess. So we're going to go check that out, see what's up with that. We also have the re-enabling of the animal hunting mission, so we'll probably go test that out for a moment as well. And then finally, we have some very interesting changes to the Polaris's potentially. It sounds like it'll be the main turret, the ammo count for it, so that big ballistic turret. We're going to check the other turrets as well in case they have maybe given it a modifier or something so that those turrets have extra ammo. But we're going to go check that out, and then we are also going to discuss this week's sneak peek, as it is very, very interesting, and I have a couple ideas as to what it possibly could be. So let's go ahead and get into it. Alright, so first, again, under locations, we have increased restricted zones and armistice around Area 18 and the Convention Center. So we can see, if I zoom in here, the Idris is up here ahead of us at the top of this big tall building. So we're just going to fly up as close as we can, and we'll see. I'm assuming it will reposition me or something like that, or it'll warn me that I'm going to get impounded. So we'll just see really quick how close we can get. Okay, so I just, right about here is where the restricted area seems to start. Let's see if I can get out of it really quick. Okay, so you can get about this close to the Idris before you're in that restricted zone, and then you're still in there with that. When that timer goes up, you will be impounded. So that should really help with the congestion of ships that would just pile up around here, like wreckages and things like that. So good to see that they've gotten that working. Hopefully that'll help with performance to a degree. So that's all for that section of the patch notes. And next, let's go ahead and let's go try out some of the kill animal missions and see if those are working correctly. Alright, so we're at Hurston. Hurston and Microtech will probably be the primary places you'll be able to do these missions in the Stanton system for the wilderness, the animal missions. So here we can see we have reduce overpopulation for 27k. We need to reduce some copian, I believe. Let's go ahead and accept this. So it wants us to exterminate copian. Let's see if it says how many it wants us to get rid of. 15. Okay, so we'll go ahead and we'll go search for some copian for a minute and just see if that works for us. Alright, here we got a group of copian. We'll just take these guys out real quick. Looks like we have another group further over that way as well we'll go get. We'll say I shot at them and then they kind of just ran away, and they're like way far away now. I tried to get out on, I got like one on foot, and then I just couldn't find any more, so I had to come get back in the ship to find more of them. So they do seem to, I think that's a little bit of a new mechanic for them, is they'll kind of run away. So yeah, they seem to just kind of take off. I'm gonna try sending a missile at them, see what happens. I think that killed a couple of them. Okay, there we go. There is 15. So it looks like those missions are working correctly. So yeah, nothing too crazy there. I'm sure there's also going to be a mission for the Marocs. If we look again, I guess we can see if there's any other ones that it offers us. That's just another one for the reducing the copian. But yeah, I'm sure there'll be more of those in the future. Maybe there'll be, I would expect, you know, as we continue to get more and more creatures, including more dangerous creatures, those missions will become more interesting to do. So those are around, though, if you want to, you know, just kind of be lazy, go get some copian and that sort of stuff, make a little bit of money on the side, you can do that. So next, let's get on to the big stuff, and let's go check out the changes to the Polaris's main turrets, and we're also going to check some of its other turrets to see if there's any changes for that as well. Alright, so I got the Polaris pulled out. So again, under the ships and vehicles section in the patch notes, we have greatly increased Polaris held turret ammo count. The wording's a little bit weird there. I'm going to assume that is for the main turret, those ballistics. Let's go down to that turret and check it out. So right now, as we know, in the current live build, the ammo count is 300 shots per gun. So let's go ahead and see what has changed there. Alrighty, let's see what we got. Oh, wow, okay. So it looks like the ammo count on both guns has been tripled. So we've gone from 300 shots per gun to 900 shots per gun. So that is that's going to make this thing last a long time. Because I mean, 300 shots was not bad for it. I think you could fire it for at least 5 to maybe 10 minutes straight. It has to cool down if you keep continuously firing, the heat will build up and then you have to let it cool down. But this, I think, is going to help make it, oh, listen to that. They changed the audio. But as I was saying, having triple the ammo is definitely going to make this more viable. So then I would expect a similar thing, at least when we get the Perseus, assuming at that point we also don't have like ammo reloading capabilities, which that'll be really good when we do get that. But for now, this is very much going to help. I'm glad to see, because I mean the Polaris itself is definitely capable of holding more than 300 rounds for these. There's lots of internal space. They could say, oh, this is where it's held or something like that. So I'm really glad that it has that 900 shots now again, or not again, but has that increase. Let me shoot this a couple more times. Let me switch it to staggered fire, because this is some new audio, I think. Let's listen. So there we go. There is the checking of these turrets. So it looks like that ammo count has again been tripled. Really nice to see. And they've changed the audio, so it sounds it has a very interesting audio sound now. I feel like maybe if they put like a little bit more punch to it, a little bit more low end, that would help it feel even better. But I think it's definitely a little bit of an improvement on that. If I remember right, the default audio sounded pretty much exactly how a lot of the other like deadbolt ballistic cannons and those sorts of things sound. So good to see that it does have a little bit of differentiation. Let's go ahead and let's just check out of curiosity one of the top turrets and just see by chance if they've increased the ammo capacity of those laser guns as well. Okay, so it does not look like the ammo's been changed here, although this is different. I'd seen something that in this PTU, like the Hammerhead, even with full weapons power, like the turrets are only getting 20 shots. And I've been in a Hammerhead in live, and if there's full weapon power, you'd get the full like ammo. You get the full ammo allocation of 75. And I think these were 25 when you had full powered weapons, and I do. Now we're at 23, so I wonder if there's been some fiddling behind the scenes with the ammo capacitors. I really think they need to make it how turret weapons used to be, where they just had massive capacitor pools. If they really want to make turrets more viable to use, they need to do that. They probably need to add some sort of modifier or something like that for like the speed of the projectiles, or else it's just really difficult to accurately or consistently hit like fighters and things like that beyond maybe 750 meters or so. It's just really difficult. Even if you're using like the auto gimbal, it's just very difficult to hit things and be effective. So I think there's a couple changes they could make for that, but looks like here it's just that main turret that got those changes. But again, very happy about it. You'll be able to put out a lot of damage with those, a lot of sustained fire. So very good to see that. Next, let's go ahead and let's take a look at this week's sneak peek. If you have not seen it already, brace yourselves, because it is very interesting. And again, there's a couple ideas I have for it. So let's go take a look. Alright, so now to get into this week's sneak peek. So the tagline, or the little phrase to go along with this week's sneak peek, is missiles ready. And so now let's take a look at the actual image itself. So it's very interesting. Now there's a couple different perspectives I want to offer on it. So at first glance, we can see there are missiles. It looks to be some sort of missile pod, missile turret, possibly. At least how I have it shown on here. At the moment, as you're seeing, there looks to be either what would be like a headlight or potentially a remote turret camera mounted on the bottom of this missile rack. It looks like this is probably going to be size 2 missiles, if I had to guess. I'm thinking size 2 at the moment, at least, and it looks like there are at least 4, 8, 12, 6. Looks like there are about 16 missiles in this little pod turret rack, whatever you want to call it. So there's obviously a couple different options for what this could be. Now, when I saw the missiles, my first initial thought was, well, maybe this is something on the Mirai Guardian MX, which is, again, supposed to be a heavy ordnance missile variant of the Guardian. But I thought about it for a minute, and of the shape language that I can see from this, I don't really see anything that actually makes me think that it could potentially be Mirai. Just the shape language doesn't really look Mirai at all, like how it would probably integrate either into the hull or be put on the Guardian MX. It doesn't really look right to me like this would be that. So I thought, okay, well, potentially then this could be either something that is on the Greycat MTC or the Anvil Asgard that we're getting as well. And then I thought, well, you know, what if I try flipping the image? So I'll flip it here on screen for you so you can see. So if we flip it upside down from what they gave it to us as, it changes it slightly to how this could potentially be read. So I want to point out when we have it flipped over, above with that little remote camera or headlight looking thing, we can see some red lights in the background. There's something back there behind and to the, you know, either the left or the right of this missile turret thing that we're looking at. So one idea that I had is this object in the background that's all blurred could potentially be one of the engines, the rear, well, assuming rear, one of the big engine thrusters that we saw in the little tiny sneak trailer thing that shows the Asgard. We see a little bit of it, but one thing we do see that's very prominent is a big Anvil engine. So I thought, well, maybe it's possible that this could be that, because those engines do look like they are kind of out on the edge of some wings, potentially higher up on the ship, like above the main body of it, and that would make sense for this image. Those engines are back behind and raised up. That's why you can see it here kind of in the background. And maybe potentially the Asgard has some missile turrets. I'm assuming it'll probably, you know, if it's a heavy transport, I would expect some missiles. I would expect some normal turrets as well. So that was another thought that I had. The one thing that makes me think this could possibly be on the Greycat MTC is we can see there are two kind of, I don't know if you want to call them like a roll cage bar, you know, but some sort of bar that potentially you'd grab onto, or, you know, that you'd more frequently probably see in something that would be on the ground that would potentially be rolling over. We can see in the top left of this rotated image, there's a bar here, and then as well over on the far right side of it, to the right of this remote camera looking thing, we can see another bar running along the length, probably front to back of this vehicle as well. So those things also made me think potentially that this is something that's on that Greycat MTC. Maybe it has some missile capability. We don't entirely know what the role of it is. All we know is the MTC, I believe, stands for Mobile Tactical Center. So you'd think it has something to do with combat, but we don't have any really any specifics. So that's kind of the three main ideas that I had when looking at this. So again, I don't think it's the Guardian MX. I don't think the shape language lines up correctly. So I think it's more likely that it's either going to be some piece on the Anvil Asgard, and this is actually on the top of the ship, but the image that they showed us is just rotated upside down. So if we flip it the other way, it looks correct. Or it's something potentially also on maybe the top of the Greycat MTC, which again, you have to flip it to see it like that, again, because of those bars that are showing up. So I don't know, very, very interesting, and I'm intrigued to find out. You know, we don't have super long to wait, but let me know your thoughts in the comments. What do you think about this sneak peek? And I'm really interested to hear any thoughts that you have. Potentially you have some idea that I didn't even mention at all. Make sure to let me know, and I'll do my best to respond to as many of you as possible. But that is going to do it for today's video covering the latest PTU updates and things like that. And make sure, again, to let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. I'm really interested to hear what you may think of all these different changes. I was really hoping we'd get to see potentially the flight blades implemented. We heard about that this morning a little bit. I think we'll probably get more of that. I would expect next week there's going to be some more explanation on it. So really looking forward to seeing what those end up doing. They're supposed to, it sounds like fine-tuned flight characteristics. So, you know, maybe it gives you a little bit more acceleration, but you give up a little bit of like your turn rate. I don't know. We'll have to see. But very interested to see more of that. But if you enjoyed the video, feel free to leave a like, as it helps the channel a ton. All of you are amazing. And until next time, I will see you in the verse.